Well, guys, there you have it. The images you see here is what is claimed to be the all-new 2022 Toyota Tundra truck, the brand new full-size truck from Toyota. In this video, I want to show you all the images that have leaked in the recent dealership meeting and give you my take on the images and look and see how these images compare to the current truck, the current generation of the Tundra, of course. But first, I want to start off with trying to figure out, is this real or what's going on here? So I wanted to show you really quick an image that Toyota shared officially. This is officially from Toyota. And it's this dark image that you can see that you've seen before on our channels, as well at TFL Now and TFL Truck YouTube channels and also websites. And you can see the kind of the headlights, the marker lights, and of course the light bars and the fog lamps from this new upcoming truck that should be out officially this year in 2021 as the next model year. And so these pictures look to match that, basically to the T, especially with all the lights you see here. So I want to take a kind of a look and also at the color and all the other information that we might know. And once again, these images are unofficial and they're leaked. And also some of them are a little bit warped because basically it was taken from a computer screen, somehow at an angle, maybe with a phone. So obviously some of the proportions may not be exactly what you may see in real life. But nonetheless, let's dig in a little deeper and take a look at this truck. So here, what we can see on this, by the way, these images were first published on Facebook in a forum group, and then also tundras.com forum, which is basically an owner's forum for the Toyota trucks. So what we can see here is a truck that appears to be just as big, perhaps, as the current Tundra. And once again, a bold new design with a giant grille. And the grills, of course, are getting bigger and bigger in all trucks these days. So that's not of a surprise. And this appears to be TRD Pro truck, judging on the Toyota that's spelled out right there in the grille. And just the color of it is very, very bright and bold. This color actually is a combination of maybe red and orange. It's kind of hard to say in these images because they're kind of low resolution. But it reminds me of a 2015 color Toyota used to have on their TRD Pro models. That color was called Inferno or Inferno Orange. So that color is really nice and bold. And you can see the tires are relatively aggressive. There's no way to tell what brand of tire this is from these images, or perhaps even what size these tires are. Let's take a look at the profile image. Once again, this truck was shown perhaps in different colors. So you can see here this really dark, perhaps black color right here on this truck. I wanted to point out a few things before we take a look at how it compares to the current Tundra. But you can see the hood has a couple of bulges and this kind of little indentation here kind of almost looks like a vent. So it's not clear if this is a functional hood scoop, is it just a vent to let some of the hot air from underneath the hood escape, or just a design element. But it does look pretty interesting right here in the hood. You can see the cab. This is a crew cab. Toyota calls it Crew Max in their Tundra currently. It appears to be still quite large, but the window lines are changed. So if you look and compare it to the current Tundra, here's a little look at the current Tundra right here. You could see the cab and the doors have kind of similar design, but this leaked image shows kind of a up kink in the rear door glass. Pretty dramatic up kink there. So the look of the profile is a little bit different. Of course, the wheels are blacked out in this case. There's also wheel arches that you can see right here. So not body color, but in black. And of course, you see all the marker lights. There are a lot of questions out there in the forums about the additional light bar because there's some regulations across United States and also other countries like Canada and the rest of the world where certain off-road lights are not allowed to be used on road. So there are a lot of questions about this. Is this just a concept truck? Is this a prototype? Can you close maybe a Grille shutter, come down and close these lights so it's legal across all states and of course many countries? We don't know that, of course, but it does look interesting, very unique. Manufacturers, at least from the factory, I haven't seen this execution with already a light bar inside the grille. It's usually something that's done aftermarket on some trucks. It's also interesting the marker lights are here. Because is this truck wider than before? Well, the fenders don't appear to be too huge if you look at these images. So is this like as wide as a Raptor or as a Ram TRX? It's hard to say using this image, but the marker lights usually designate that this is a truck that's maybe approaching 80 inches in width, which requires actually by regulation to have additional marker lights. Or is it not as wide and just using these lights for style and just to have an aggressive look? I also want to show you the rear image. This is basically one image we have of the rear of the truck. You can see the tailgate kind of applique on the top. Once again, marker lights on the top of the tailgate. And these very interesting vertical, appear to be LED tail lamps. And of course, TRD Pro stamped into the tailgate. That's another clue that this is a Pro, or maybe their most off-road worthy Tundra. And of course, blacked out bumper. It looks pretty interesting. And of course, you can see design elements like the little tailgate latch right there and in the back. But what many others haven't noticed, I was also looking down below, and you could see this exhaust pipe on the driver's side of the truck. I'm pointing to it right here. So this is interesting, and I'm wondering if Toyota has done this before on the Tundra, where they have duals, basically two pipes, a dual exhaust system, and there's an outlet on the passenger side and also on the driver's side. So maybe they're playing with that same orientation. It's not clear from this image because we cannot see passenger side right here. And also we don't know what the suspension is. And yeah, we can't see anything else underneath the truck. But the current V8 that's in the Tundra, we know sounds really good, especially with the TRD Pro or the TRD exhaust system. So we do know that. But what's going to be underneath the hood of the new Tundra? Well, is this. Toyota actually officially shared this image. This is basically an engine cover with a new name of the power plant, which is iForce Max. And there's also kind of a lot of controversy around this because Toyota did not officially state any specifications or any description of this engine. But I have a separate video on TFL Truck channel and tfltruck.com discussing this in detail. A couple of things I can tell you is that the Max is outlined in blue, which is a Toyota designation, often the case that it's a designation for a hybrid of some sort of electrified vehicle. So we anticipate this to potentially be a V6 twin turbo hybrid. So very similar, maybe perhaps in design to a Ford F-150 hybrid, but of course we have no idea because Toyota hasn't shared this information yet. A lot of other outlets are saying, yes, it's definitely a twin turbo V6 hybrid, not a plug-in hybrid though, and not a mild hybrid, but actually a full hybrid that's able to be driven on electricity. But we don't know for sure. Toyota may surprise us. So we don't have official information on this yet. But we do know an official statement was made by the executive sales vice president, Bob Carter, that the upcoming Tundra will have at least two engine options. A base power plant for most Tundras, and then another one with far more power that should quote unquote blow us away. So perhaps this hybrid power plant will be that. Maybe it might be also called Tundra Prime if it's a plug-in. So who knows? We don't know. But all we know, it's an iForce Max name. And also, yeah, and the V6 that came, well, we think this is a V6 just by the design of this engine cover. And we also know that the new Land Cruiser is out. So we do know something about that twin turbo V6 for big SUV with a rating of about 409 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque and a 10-speed automatic. So that engine with similar power, maybe in the next Tundra, is kind of a base motor, which is also already pretty impressive to be base power over 400 horsepower. So we'll have to wait and see. Is that really going to be the base engine, or what's going to happen in this? We don't know. I mean, we estimate this potential hybrid system at over 500 horsepower, just so it can compete against the rest of the competitors out there, obviously. But we don't know. Is it going to reach 500 horsepower mark or not? So here's just another little look at the side of this truck. Actually, on this side, you can kind of see the rear passenger quarter with no exhaust pipe. So it's not clear if this is a poor quality image or if this is truly a truck where the exhaust is dumping on the driver's side, which is similar to what we saw in some of the prototypes that were running around in public. Which is kind of using this Land Cruiser updated chassis and updated exhaust routing that it's actually going out on the driver's side. Also, we see some sort of a step, maybe a rock slider, maybe just a step for style, we're not sure, and also mud flaps, of course. This is an off-road truck, so of course all those elements are there. And a kind of a standard mirror, not a towing mirror, although we've seen prototypes of this truck with towing mirrors as well. So there you have it. This is the leak. It's unofficial. It was released right after the dealership meeting and picked up by forums. So I wanted to give you our take on this and show you how it relates to the current truck, which is, just kind of finishing up its production run. And the new Tundra will be produced in San Antonio, Texas. And stay tuned to, of course, TFL Truck and TFLtruck.com for all the latest truck news, and specifically, of course, brand new truck debuts and introductions. Thank you.